here again tomorrow for a championship.
Yes, sir.
Today, Coach, if you'll just start by introducing each one of your athletes for us.
Yeah, here I have Kelvin Pereira. He's one of our leaders. He's committed to Ole Miss. I have Kevin Roca here. He was a winning pitcher for today, going to Nova Southeastern. And here I have Roydon Perez, which is one of our other captains. He's going to St. John's Community College.
Coach, if you'd like to make a statement about the game, you can.
It was great coming out here. We knew it was going to be a tough opponent, hometown crowd. I'm happy for the boys. They came out here. They weren't overwhelmed. Kevin did a great job as he's done all year. He's pitched really well. And today, the conditions, it was really hot, but he battled through, and he had some rough innings here, but he battled through them, and he did what he did.
David, can you talk about, I remember that game, that day against downtown Doral, where you 0-0 in the fifth inning, and I'm thinking, if you told me that day you'd be in the state championship game,
I tried forgetting that game.
I would have lost my shirt in Vegas. We discussed how somehow the bats have really just flown out of the dugout since then. You talked about, you fundamentally did something to try and
we just, we continue to work and
how do you get a team to hit better so quickly?
That's these guys here. They just bought in. We just did some different things in practice, as I told you before, and it's kind of panned out. We've made more contact. We've driven some more baseballs. We didn't have a lot of extra base hits leading up into the postseason, but I guess they've come at the right time.
Kelvin, can you speak to that a little bit? The bats coming around so quickly, so fast.
We just trusted our work. Hitting something that goes up and down. Our pitching gave us a lot of confidence. Guys came up and threw strikes. They threw up zeros, so it gives the hitters confidence. Knowing that you can still go out there and compete. That game, I think the first game against Pace, that's kind of where everybody took off. First game, that's when everybody started hitting. So I knew we got hot at the right time. So.
And I guess it's kind of cool because it's almost infectious, no?
All
of a sudden,
rubbed off on everybody.
Everybody wants to get up to the plate all of a sudden. So, again, I guess, Kelvin, you can just talk about, everybody's not stunned that you won today, but the way that you did it and just mercy rolling a team that's 32-2. Could you have ever imagined beating this team the way you did today, like this?
Not really, you don't go into games trying to knock teams out. You just go in and try to compete. Rock came out, set the tone, 1, 2, 3 inning, and then, the hitters just had some competitive at-bats, had some good walks, hit by pitches, a couple timely hits, and then we had that big inning in, I think it was the 6th, where it kind of just blew the game open.
Coach, or the guys who wants to talk about it, that play that your middle infield made.
Oh, you can talk about it. He's right here.
Yeah, that's why you got called in there.
That was a big-time play in the game.
The timing that it had to be to get that done.
Roydon talked about that play right there. That was a big moment.
It was at the right spot, and I was able to make the catch. And thankfully, my second baseman was there to catch it.
He was a big part of it.
But getting up to get the flip to him, really low.
I really just tried to throw to the bag, but he was there. Honestly, without him, I wouldn't have made the play.
And that would have been a momentum shifter in the game because it was 2-0 at the time, and if the ball ricochets off his glove, that's 2 runs there, and then you got a tie game, you got the crowd with them, and anything can happen here, and they've got plenty of experience. They're a good team, you said it. They're 30-2 or something like that, and it's a good team. This is their hometown. Their school's only a few miles away from here, so anything can happen.
Rock, talk to me about out there today, getting settled in, and you get. Was there nerves? It's your first time pitching at state. You go out there and you look like you found a pretty nice groove pretty early on.
Well, yeah, coming out here, you step on the mound, you just look around, you see everybody cheering on you. You do get a little nervous, that's normal. But once I that 1, 2, 3 inning, that really hyped me up. I was so excited. I see these kids hitting. It's amazing. The amount of confidence you come out there, you have to be there to feel it.
And getting the 2 runs early probably helped. And
yes.
You got an early lead, so you got a little something to play with.
I was more relaxed at that point. There was no nerves, just excitement.
Coach, how many days, obviously there's a long layoff between the regional final and today. How much time did you think you were going to see Lawson, and were you surprised when you didn't see him as a starting pitcher?
I honestly, one of the other pitchers, when we were hanging out by the tunnel, he asked me if Lawson was hurt or if he was playing, and I thought he was. And then, when the pitchers and the catcher and the coaches walk under the tunnel, I didn't see him out there. I was a little shocked. So I don't know if it was a strategy or maybe he wasn't available to throw. I'm not too sure. But at the end of the day, you know, the guy that threw, we faced him early in preseason as well, and he's just as good, you know.
Yeah. What was it kind of like facing them then, and then obviously seeing them now?
It's like I talked to Casey and I sent him a text when we figured out that we were going to play each other. Ironically, we played each other in preseason. We know that you know, they have a good team and they have a nice place. We wanted to kind of get away a little bit in preseason, and then, you know, after we were done, we saw, you know, they had a good team, and we looked them up on Max Preps, and we figured out that they were 3A. So it was just ironic how, you know, we ended up playing them. You know, we're finishing off our season where it kind of started, you know, and I don't know, it's just
David,
the irony of the world.
37 years between state championships for this school in any sport. So talk to me just about the opportunity that's in front of you tomorrow to make history for the school.
Well, we did. We came back, like, you know, I sat in this room 6 years ago and always said that we'd be back, you know, and the goal this year was to win one game. You know, this baseball team had never won one game in the state tournament, and we won that one game, and now we're here playing for a state championship, you know. So it's great. At the end of the day, I just hope the kids embrace it, and it's good that they know a little bit about the history, and they can make history, you know, as they have been all year. This is I believe one of the better teams I've coached, and I'm sure, you know, with all the accomplishments and the accolades that the players and the team have had throughout the year, I'm sure it's one of the better teams in the history of the school.
David, talk a little bit about, you were up here in 2019. Was there any different preparation coming up this time from the last time you were up here?
Yeah, there's a little bit different. You know, going back, that was one of the things that I did when we clinched to come up here. I wanted to go back in the game in 2019 and see what I would have done differently. You know, as you know, I've came out here with Brito in 2013 and 2014 and 15, but you know, the game changes and every team's not the same. So I went back and there were some things that I did differently, and if the game would have been a little tighter, I would have done differently than I did in 2019. Absolutely.
Your thoughts on South Walton, what you've seen?
Don't know anything about them yet. You know, like Bill can attest to that. I go 1 week at a time, and I couldn't tell you a single person on that roster right now. So, you know, we'll get back. You know, we'll get back to the hotel today, and we'll watch the game and do our homework. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's just us and them for a state championship.
Any other questions, guys? Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
We appreciate
Thank you.